Hey, what's up, Storm Watchers? Catherine here, and this is my second video for my blog, Scattered with the Cloudy with a Chance of Scattered Thoughts. And just a review. Last week we talked about change and how if you want to see change, you gotta be change. And so over the weekend, I actually learned of a person who did quite a bit of change, and who's a huge nonprofit advocate for extreme poverty, and it's Bono. I don't know if you saw my stuff on my wall, but yeah, I posted his nonprofit, his stats, and if you didn't read them on my wall, I have them right here. It says that 8 million more AIDS patients getting life-changing antiviral drugs. 8 countries in Africa have their death rate cut by 75%. And child mortality rate is down 2.65 million a year, which means over 7,000 children's lives are saved every single day, which is awesome. More children living is always awesome. And the extreme poverty has declined from 43% back in 1990 to now 21% in 2010 when they did the last stat, which is huge, which means that was cut in half. And so by 2028, the rate can be at 0, which means no one is living below $1.25 a day. And Bono is actually commenting on the poor here. He says, God may well be in our mansions on a hill. I hope so. He may as well be in manners of all controversial stuff. Maybe, maybe not. But the one thing we can all agree, all faiths, all ideologies, is that God is with the vulnerable and the poor. God is in the slums and the cardboard boxes where the poor play house. And God is in the silence of a mother who's infected her child with a virus that will end both their lives. God is in the cries heard under the rubble of war. God is in the debris of wasted opportunity in life. God is with us if we are with them. And so basically what Bono's saying there is God isn't just with those who are in the upper class, but He's with those who are the lowest of low, the people who don't have homes or families or money or any of that stuff. And because if you think about it, God was one of those. Jesus walked among the poor, and those are the people He hung out with, the poor and the sinners. And I think we have to remember that Jesus He didn't come to this earth as a king. He came as a savior. But He didn't come riding on some huge white horse with a crown on His head. He came and He was born in a barn to a really poor family, and he he didn't even have a home growing up as an adult. He just walked around and spoke to people about the good news, and we got to think about that now. It's like if the guy started walking around, he didn't have a place, he didn't have a home, and he started saying, the good news and this, that we would kind of just be like, dude, some crazy homeless guy. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of people thought then. And so we have to realize that the poor are, they're little Jesuses walking around, not, some good-looking European guy that, we have to remember that uh, when we treat those of low class really bad, then it makes us look bad. Like it says right here, it says in Matthew, I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger and you didn't invite me in. I needed clothes and you didn't clothe me. I was sick and in prison and you didn't help me. And he will reply, Lord, when did we see you sick or in prison or needing clothes or a stranger and did not help you? He will reply, I tell you the truth. Whatever you did not do to the least of these, you didn't do for me. So basically, he's saying that when you don't help out the homeless, and when you don't, that's just as bad as looking down at them or, you know, anything like that. It's because you're not doing anything about it. And it's because one of the last things God said before he went into heaven was that, you got to look after the poor and the widowed and the orphans, because those people are always going to be with us, and we're going to have to take care of those less fortunate. And like he says here, he says, when you give a banquet, invite the poor and the crippled and the lame and the blind, and you will be blessed. Although you cannot be repaid, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. And so basically saying, like, when you throw a party or something, you don't invite, all the people don't make you look good. That's not who God hung out with. Jesus, when he was on this earth, he hung out with, the tax collectors and, the prostitutes and all the people that the society looked down on. And because he didn't care about image, he didn't care about any of that. He just cared about their salvation and changing their hearts so that one day he could see them again in heaven. And I think we have to realize that is sometimes we can't worry about image or what people think about us, or just inviting the poor people, or inviting the rich rather. We need to hang out with those less fortunate, because those are the people that will appreciate it more. I'm not saying that rich people are bad. I'm just saying that, a doctor doesn't go into a hospital and heal people that are already well. He heals the sick. And that's what Jesus was trying to get across. And so, speaking of all this, a friend of mine, we were friends back in middle school, and she told me later on when we were in high school that because she saw me being a Christian in middle school, she later became a Christian. And I think that we have to remember that we're always being watched, because I didn't know she even noticed how I was acting. I didn't know I was doing anything right or wrong. So I think we just have to be conscious of how we're acting, because I may have had a positive attitude, but what if I was out there, doing awful things like cussing her out, or, just picking fights with everybody? Then she would be like, oh, she's not a good person. So I think we have to be so conscious of that and remember that we're always being watched. And so, speaking of being watched, I hope all of you have an awesome weekend, and maybe if you haven't already seen Monsters University, highly recommend it. I haven't seen it, so I'm recommending it, so you can come back and tell me if it's awesome or not. So, yeah, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week.